In this video, we'll be installing a gutter system on the back of our Yardistry Contemporary Gazebo. You can see it's a lean-to style roof, and I want to divert that water from the whole roof here in the back, run that downspout down, and bring it out here into the garden. Now this particular gazebo has a nice fascia board that I can screw a eaves trough to. The whole length of the back of the gazebo from end to end is 169 inches. So now that I know that I needed 169 inches for an eaves trough, end to end, instead of going to the big box store where they only sell 10-foot lengths, I went to a place that specializes in eaves troughs and windows, doors, siding. They made me this piece to the exact length, got a couple downspouts, and they also sold me everything I'm going to need to complete this job, with the hangers, straps, downspout piece, screws, caulking. I saved a little bit of money because I didn't have to buy all the extra feet on the eaves trough, and some of the parts were a little bit cheaper than the big box store. So you might want to check your local supplier if you're doing a job like this. So the first thing I'm going to start with is putting the end caps on this eaves trough. Need to put one on both sides. Here I'm just laying out a few tools that I'll probably need to do this job. Okay, like I say, we're going to start off with our end caps. Just keep in mind, if you're purchasing these, it comes in a left and a right. And of course, in this case, we're going to use our left. So I'm going to start off by putting a bead of caulking all in here and on the inside of our eaves trough here. Before we do that, we'll just do a quick dry fit just to make sure everything's going to line up. And I can see my profile's just a little bit off here as it is here. So I'll get my needle nose pliers and just bend that a little bit to make a nice match. Like I say, I just tweak that out like that. There. I'll just keep pressing it in like that, tweaking it until I get a good fit. Looks pretty good now. Once I get that silicone on there, we're going to pinch it a little bit around, so it should be good there. Okay, now I'll take our cap back off here. Now put a thin bead of silicone on the inside of the trough. Just for good measure, I'm going to put some in the groove here along our cap. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my channel locks, just give it a gentle squeeze all the way around. Now what I'm going to do is put a nice bead of silicone all inside of there where the seam is. Just going to put a couple tiny screws in here just to kind of hold it in place. And I'll put one on the back side here. I'll just spread that silicone on the inside with my finger. Now I'll install the end cap over on the other side. There, now I got both end caps installed there. You can see that's nicely sealed on the inside. And the same thing over on this side. Now I need to cut a hole so that it'll accept my piece for the downspout here. But I need to determine where to put it. So I'm going to run my downspout down the center of the post. So I need the distance of the center of the post to the end of the roof. And that's the center point where I'm going to install that little cup. All right, so that measurement is 10.5 inches from the end of the eave trough to where the center of my post is, where I'm going to run that downspout. So just make sure you put your downspout piece on the right side of the eave trough, or I should say the correct side. Now, in my case, I want it on this side. So I'm going to flip this upside down. I'm going to find my 10.5 inch center here, where the center of the post is going to be. Now I want the whole of the eave trough to be exactly this size, so I can slip this in. So I'm just going to eyeball that to the center of where I got my mark. Then I'm going to trace with a pencil all the way around where I need to cut. Get that pretty well marked there. I'm going to use my tin snips for this, so in order to get my snip started, I need a hole to get going. So I'm going to drill a hole kind of in the center of this. Kind of work my drill side to side and make that hole just slightly bigger. Now I'm just going to gently cut along here. We'll work this along a little better. There. Now I made it to my edge. I'll just slowly work my way around. You may want to use gloves at this point because this stuff's really sharp. Now, just for good measure, we'll kind of put this around, see where we need to trim just a little bit more so that this slides right in. Now I've just been cleaning the edges here with my side cutters. I'll give it a firm pinch like that, cut through, and just work my way just a little bit. And I just keep refitting that piece, and wherever I'm have resistance there, I'm just trimming away a little bit. There we go. I just find the tin snips is just too big to get it in there, especially if you're just cutting off a little sliver. There, now I got a bit of a press fit here, so let's flip it around and slip this in. All right, do a quick dry fit, make sure it'll go right in there. Oh yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, run a bead of silicone all along here. First I'll put a little bead around our hole at the top of the hole here. And I'll put a bead on this side of the flange. Just like that. And we'll set our cup here into the hole. Firmly push it into the base there. Just like that. Okay, now I'm just going to put 4 screws where those holes are. All right, there we have it. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of silicone around the top there. just like that there. Now what I'm going to do is just clean this bead of silicone around like that on our flange where it comes through. All right, we're ready to hang this on our fascia here. So to hang this on the fascia, I got these clips here. So like I said, they sold me just enough material to do this job. They sold me 8 of these clips that's going to help us fasten this eave trough to our fascia board. Now if I do 8 and I start counting out, I'll have 9 sections between these fasteners. So because we're 169 inches, I'm roughly 18 inches spacing between each of these. So I'm just going to go every 18 inches and put these in the eave trough. Now these just fit in this side of the eave trough like that. And then the back side clips like that. And then once I have it up in the air, this is going to screw into the fascia. So like I say, every 18 inches or so, I'll put one of those all along. All right, now we're ready to hang this on our fascia. Now I'm doing this by myself, so at the one end I got a C-clamp in the fascia. The other end is where I'm going to run my downspout. So that's where the hole in the eave trough is going to go. So as a rule of thumb, you want 1/2 inch drop for every 10 feet. We're 169 inches here. So if we go 3/4 to 1 inch drop from one end to the other, we should be fine. So what I'm going to do down at the end where the downspout is run the eave trough pretty even with the bottom of the fascia. And this end, if I have room, I'll come right up under that lip there on the roof. Up on that C-clamp and then screw this side in. There, now I'll just work my way back to that side, screw that side in, and then we'll work our way back. There, we got the eave trough installed. You can see that bottom of the eave trough just coming under that fascia board as we get closer to the lower side. We should be good there. Now it's a matter of connecting our downspouts. All right, now we're going to work on our downspouts here. So I got 2 elbows. One has a tapered end and the other end's not. One's just going to fit inside the other like that. So all I'm going to do a dry fit for now. That's going to come up, fit on that little sleeve like that. Next one's going to come on, fit like that. Then we're going to measure the length of pipe we need. Then we're going to put this together, just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just put a bead of caulking on the inside of this sleeve here. We're going to fit over that little cup. We're going to slip that over this. Wiggle that all the way to the top. All right. Then I'm going to put a couple small screws in here just to hold it in place. Just like that. Now we're going to take our next elbow at the wide end here. Put a tiny bead of silicone on the inside. Just like that. We're going to fit that over there. Something like that. And I'm going to put a couple screws in there just to kind of hold it in place. Then I'll put a screw from the opposite side. All right, now we'll measure the length of our downspout, install that. Where this is, I want to place this somewhere similar to where it's going to go. Then I'll measure the length, keeping in mind that the upper part's going to go on here about an inch or inch and a half or so. And same as at the bottom, it's going to go in that pipe about an inch and a half. So I'll do a rough measurement there and see what we got. Roughly 78 inches. So let's go cut a piece of pipe. Now our downspouts also have a tapered end and a straight end. So for my 78 inches, I want to keep the tapered end on there. So what I'm going to do is measure from here over for 78 inches. Then we're going to make our cut. All right, so here's our 78 inches here. I'm just going to make a little mark with the saw. And move the tape measure. We're going to cut the rest of the way through. So you just take your time cutting through and you got a nice finish here. Just using an ordinary hacksaw. All right, then now I'll take my pipe that I cut. Just kind of hold it here. Looks about right. Now this elbow, I'm going to direct that way. Okay, now we're going to slip it on the end of our tapered pipe there. Just like that. Now the upper part of the pipe. I'm going to put a bead of silicone in here. Then we're going to slip it up into that elbow. There, now I'm going to put a couple screws at the top, a couple screws at the bottom. Then I got a couple straps. I'm going to strap this to the post. Okay, put a screw at the top here. There, now we got a couple of these straps to help hold it in place. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put one of our tiny screws just in the eave trough to hold it where it's going. So I want one right about there. Kind of eyeballing the trueness here of the pipe. Put another one maybe about here. Now I got a couple of deck screws. I think it's 1 5/8 inches, so that's what I have. I'm going to hold the pipe kind of where it needs to go. Bend these straps approximately where they need to be. I'm going to tuck it just behind the pipe a little bit. Same on this side. Okay, here we have it. Downspouts all in. I got my elbow facing out toward the back. Okay, for now I'm just going to get my other length of pipe here. Connect it to the bottom of that one elbow. I'll fit it in there. Then that's going to direct this water way out into the backyard. Well, there we have it. We got our gutter installed on the back of our gazebo here. That's going to direct all that rainwater from that whole roof out of sight for us. Well, I hope this video helps you if you're looking to install a rain gutter or an eave trough on the back of your gazebo. I'd share with you what I'm doing. Like I said before, I think if you go to a store that just deals with eave troughs rather than one of the big box stores, you'll probably save yourself a little bit of money and they're going to fix you up with everything you need. I think the biggest struggle in this job was cutting that hole for the downspout. You may want to research or do something different than what I did, but I really had to trim up with those side cutters. Well, I hope this video helped you, and we'll see you on the next one.